The hero is overpowered but overly cautious. Episode 1. This hero is too cautious. Ristarte, goddess of healing, is burdened with the task of summoning a hero for the world of Ghiabrande. After hours of searching, she stumbles upon Ryuju and Seiya, the perfect candidate on paper. She feels her search is over and summons him to the divine realm. Unknown to the goddess, Seiya has a bit of a caution problem. She finds this out when she opts for them to visit Ghiabrande, and he complains about needing more time to prepare. His good looks have Ristarte on a leash, but she tries her best to mask it. Her friend, Ariadoa, the goddess of seals, advises her about Seiya. Rista brings him food, but he's cautious. She sets up his room, but he's cautious once again. Ristarte just leaves a buzzer in case Seiya needs anything in her absence. A week passes before Seiya even reaches out, surprising Rista with how much his stats have improved from just working out. They take a portal to the small town of Adona, where Seiya shops for potions and the like in outrageous numbers. Thanks to Rista, Seiya doesn't buy the shops whole. They run into a slime, and Seiya pulls out all the stops, attacking the poor thing with multiple high-level skills. Chaos Machina is one of the 4 heavenly kings of the Demon Lord. She catches wind of the hero and makes her way to him immediately. An overly cautious Seiya runs for his life as soon as he scans her abilities. Episode 2. Too much for a novice goddess to bear. After Seiya and Rista slip away to the divine realm, Seiya refuses to leave his room until he feels ready to face Chaos Machina. The demon doesn't relent. She threatens to kill villagers for every 10 minutes Seiya makes her wait. Rista panics and disturbs Seiya until he dresses up. She steals a glance at his stats, which have now improved even more than before. Seiya hits Chaos with a sneak attack, but she dodges it. The demon notices the spike in Seiya's stats and transforms into a greater demon using a demonic curse. Seiya blocks a punch from her with his bare hands, and while he is busy with that, Rista notices that he's been hiding his true stats the whole time using the fake out skill. He annihilated the greater demon with one strike of his Phoenix Drive, but his caution wouldn't let him stop there. Seiya gathers the remains of Chaos Machina and burns them to a crisp, burning the village along with them. They're driven out of the village by the mayor. Episode 3. This hero is too self-serving. Rista is complaining to Ariadoa about a certain someone stressing her. You guessed right, Seiya. She's still complaining when the hero bursts into the room, talking about how he'd hit a brick wall in his training. Arya suggests he train with other gods and even introduces him to Cerseus, the divine blade. They trained together, but in just 4 days, Seiya had Cerseus tired and renouncing the way of the sword. Ishta summons Rista to warn her of the imminent danger the future holds that she has to meet her allies in a church in the town of Seimol. She and Seiya make their way there and are warned of undead forces right at the city gates. Seiya immediately goes shopping for 1,000 bottles of holy water after finding out they could help defeat the undead. Rista only lets him buy 10. They head to the church in Seimol as instructed by Ishtar. There, they meet Ilulu and Mash, children bearing dragonkin blood. Caution moves Seiya to empty a bottle of holy water on the head of the priest. He is right, because the priest turns out to be undead. Seiya cut up the priest into bits and, as usual, used an unnecessary amount of power to cremate his remains. The Church of Seimol served as collateral damage for the hero. Episode 4. I don't need any allies. Seiya strikes a deal with the captain for 1,000 gold coins, offering to defeat the undead without any help. He flies towards them, and a pissed-off Ristarte summons wings before pursuing him. 10,000 undead keep barreling forward as Seiya observes them from above. He summons a meteor strike, which takes them out in their thousands. He does this a second time and wipes out the whole army as promised. Seiya laments about his MP dropping too low. It was 13,500 by the way. Piece of work, that hero. Mash gets taken by Death Magla, the demon behind the undead saga. Seiya only finds this out when a powerful mirror showing the hostage and the demon is delivered to the castle. Seiya uses the Dimension Blade to cut off Death Magla's hand and portals to the Divine Realm for more time to regroup. Ishta locates the boy and portals Seiya and Rista to Death Magla's lair. He attacks with a Hellfire Flame, but it's useless against Death Magla's Phyrus, a dark flame monster. Seiya uses an ice bracelet he created to turn Phyrus into pure ice and then shatters him to pieces. Episode 5. This goddess is too spooky. Seiya brings Ilulu and Mash to the Divine Realm and hands them over to Cerseus and Hestaika, goddess of fire, for training. He, on the other hand, annoys the goddess of destruction, Valkyrie, calling her an exhibitionist. He's saved by Ariadoa, who pleads with Valkyrie to forgive him. Seiya asks her to train him, and she turns him down blatantly. Arya does it again and she introduces Seiya to Adanella, goddess of war. She agrees to train him but falls in love along the way. Adanella requests to follow Seiya on his missions, but he rejects her in the worst way. She goes on to rampage the Divine Realm in anguish. Seiya and his party head to the Dragon's Den. The den possesses a magic circle from whence a voice asks him to step into it. He puts a lizard first to check for traps before stepping into it himself. They're transported to the dragon village and are welcomed by a dragon newt upon arrival. The team is taken to see Lavier, the great mother of dragons, who shows Mash how to fully transform. She reveals that Ilulu is to become Exacian, the ultimate sword, by giving up her life. Episode 6. The Great Dragon Mother is too sneaky. Lavier makes it clear that Ilulu's self-sacrifice is the only way to end the Demon King's reign of terror. This dampens the mood of the whole team. They're invited to a feast, but it is in fact the ceremony to turn Ilulu into Exacian. Seiya disrupts the sacrifice, infuriating the queen in the process. She transforms into a dragon but gets attacked by Dragon Killer, a sword Seiya synthesized especially. Lavier places a curse on Ilulu, and a necklace emanates around her neck. She upgrades herself into a dragon wall, and Seiya consumes speed seeds in preparation. With 2 swords, he increased his attacks against Lavier, pushing her to the edge of the abyss. Seiya strikes her till she falls to her death. He then portrays a fake Exacian to deceive the indigenous people of Dragon Village, but Rista can tell. Episode 7. This Lady Knight is too dog-like. The Roseguard Imperial Knights come running to Seiya with news of another heavenly king on the loose. Beelzebub by name, he controls insect monsters and terrorizes Olga Forest. Seiya and his party head to the forest, where they witness the insects drop over 100 men from the sky to their bloody deaths. Afterwards, they head back to the fortress to regroup with the elders of the town. The meeting yielded no results, and as Seiya opts to leave, Rosalie, leader of the knights, confronts him for letting her men die. Seiya blames her instead. She tries to slap him, but he dodges and returns the slap with a vengeance. She tries again, and the same thing repeats itself until Seiya leaves her growling like a dog. They go in search of Midas, the goddess of archery, who agrees to train Seiya in aerial warfare. Ilulu and Mash begin training with Ariadoa. Episode 8. Neat and tidy but overly nymphomaniacal. Under Ariadoa's training, Mash learns to release dragon metamorphosis in his right hand, while Ilulu masters delay and haste, skills that allow her to slow down and quicken her opponent at will. Rista runs to where Seiya is being trained after hearing of Midas and her depravity. She meets Midas all tied up and naked, asking Seiya to free her with the shining arrow technique she taught him. Seiya shoots her in the head instead, and she breaks free in annoyance. As she tries to attack him, Seiya shoots 5 arrows at a time, immobilizing the goddess. They head back to Olga Forest, where they meet Rosalie, who is already challenging Beelzebub. She's been captured by the monster and dropped from the sky. Rista quickly saves her and Seiya attacks, using her as a distraction. Beelzebub dodges the arrows, but they come back and burst a hole right through him. The arrows explode, turning Beelzebub into nothingness. Seiya shoots down the remaining insects and has Mash gather up their corpses before setting them ablaze. They head to Azale to find the sacred armor, but they meet the village on fire. A hateful villager had already fed the armor to the tortoise beast. Episode 9. This Reaper is just too invincible. Upon arrival at Azale village, the hateful villager kneels within a magic circle. He gives his life and that of his wife and son to summon the hypersexual Reaper, Crow's Day Thanatos. This was an enemy much too powerful for Seiya. He picks up his people and runs to the Divine Realm, but he's not safe there, not this time. The Reaper manipulates dimensions and shows up in the Divine Realm. It defeats every god that tries to stop it. It chases Seiya until they reach Valkyrie's lair, where he sets up the Reaper to ruin her painting. The angry goddess takes it out on Thanatos, and after trying other techniques and futility, she summons the first gate of Valhalla to swallow the Reaper whole. This feat makes Seiya insist that she train him. She rewards his persistence by agreeing. Ishtar summons Ristarte to warn her about the 4th Heavenly King. Mash can now achieve full dragon metamorphosis, and Ilulu upgraded her haste skill to quick. Eraser Kaiser, the 4th Heavenly King of the Demon Lord, stood waiting as Seiya and his party arrived at Azale. The people nominate War Master to fight against the treacherous demon. Before Eraser can do anything, War Master slices it to pieces in a single strike. He proceeds to wipe out Eraser's army in one strike too. After defeating them, War Master suddenly turns into a baby. Episode 10. This man is too strong for being so old. Rosalie convinces Seiya and Rista not to allow her father to participate in the coming battles for fear of his old age getting the better of him. They do just that when word comes to the castle that survivors from the Demon Lord's forces are attacking the capital. Seiya offers to take care of it. He asks Mash and Ilulu to accompany him, leaving Rista behind. War Master explains that the reason gods and goddesses can't die is because they only wield their virtual souls, that their real souls are locked away somewhere in the divine realm. He says that the Demon Lord owns a weapon called Chain Reaction, a weapon that can kill both the virtual and real soul alike. The War Master then pulls out a sword brimming with evil power, a sword embedded with Chain Reaction. He captures Rista with it, and just as he's about to deal the finishing blow, Seiya interrupts him. The War Master swallows an evil orb handed to him by the Demon Lord and transforms into a demonkin. He becomes much more energetic and even younger. They battle it out at unimaginable speed until Seiya uses the 9th Valkyrie counter break to take off the War Master's hand. He sacrifices his hand to achieve this great feat. Seiya pierces the War Master with a flaming sword, and he transforms back to his old self to share his last moments with his daughter Rosalie. Seiya passes out for 3 days after that, and the first thing he addresses after waking up is how to beat the Demon Lord. Episode 11. The truth is too much to bear. Rista, Ilulu, and Mash go shopping, hoping to meet with Seiya after, but Seiya doesn't show up. A distraught Rista approaches Ishtar about Seiya's whereabouts, and she breaks it to her that the hero had gone to fight the Demon Lord all by himself. Rista laments in disbelief that such a cautious person would wander off alone. Ishtar then shows them Seiya from 100 years ago, and how carefree he was. She shows them how his carefree nature made him lose his entire party, including the mother of his unborn child, to the Demon Lord. The mother of his child was Rista, who was reborn as a goddess. Episode 12. The hero is overpowered but overly cautious. This new knowledge didn't set well with Rista. She portaled her way to Seiya despite the warnings from Ishtar. She meets him already, battling the Demon Lord and losing. Seiya uses the Gate of Valhalla on him, but it's not enough to subdue him. The Demon Lord transforms into his true form, a beast with outrageous power, and he begins to push open the gates of Valhalla. Seiya then uses synthesis on the blades of the gate. He uses Phoenix Thrust and double sword attacks. He just keeps attacking until the Demon Lord finally gets swallowed by the Valhalla gates. The recoil from using the gates almost kills Seiya, but Rista breaks the rules and summons all of her goddess powers to heal him. Their joy is short-lived when the gates of Valhalla turn up again. The Demon Lord's last attempt to take everyone and everything down with him. Seiya summons a second gate, as though his life meant nothing to him. The second gate swallows both the Demon King and the first gate of Valhalla together. The toll it takes on Seiya's body doesn't heal, despite all of Rista's efforts. As she tries to heal him, his body takes more damage. Right before their eyes, Seiya disintegrates and disappears into thin air. Sadness filled the room. Tears stained the eyes of everyone present, but his sacrifice had saved Giabrande. Ilulu and Mash are appointed as Imperial Knights, and a distraught Rista portals back to the Divine Realm. She's punished for inappropriate use of her powers by being sentenced to summon a new hero for the damned world of Exphoria, a world already dominated by a Demon Lord. Her healing powers will be blocked, so she can't help whatever hero she chooses. Rista is still distraught until she looks at the list of heroes to choose from. Ryuju and Seiya made the list.